I had some of my fondest memories growing up in St. Louis, specifically in St. Louis County. When it was warm outside, me and my siblings and the neighborhood kids, we would go to the lake and go fishing. A lot of times we just made a fishing pole out of a stick and like some fishing line and a hook, and we caught bluegill, and yeah, it felt safe. My dad was the neighborhood father. He was everybody's dad. He was a detective in University City, the chief in Pagedale. He went to every play I was in, every sporting event. Every Valentine's Day I woke up and my room was filled with flowers and balloons and the big chocolates. My dad just, he took care of us. I have two siblings, an older brother and little brother, and he was our superhero. We all were in our childhood home, and my dad just hung out with all of us. He came to my room and he was like, "Hey, you want to teach me how to play poker?" I'm like, "All right." I used to play poker a lot. And so I sat at the table and I taught him how to play, and he was like, "Oh, thank you." And then he went downstairs to my older brother's room and he just hung out with him. And then he went to my little brother's room and he talked with him, and then he left. Maybe an hour later, I got a phone call from my dad's friend, and they were like, "Your dad's been shot, but he got one of them." So when I got to the hospital, they had us all in a waiting room. And my family was just like slowly coming in, everybody pacing, trying to wait to hear what was going on. And I went outside to get a family member that was lost and show them where to go. And when I came back inside, no one was in the waiting room anymore. And I'm like, where did everybody go? One of my aunt's friends, she was like, they didn't tell you? I'm like, no. They were just like, he didn't make it. At that time, I just felt shock. I didn't have any emotions, honestly. I didn't cry for a long time. I just couldn't. Two kids, they were, I think, 17 and 18, came up to him and they tried to rob him. My dad carried, so they got in a shootout, and he got shot. To just like lose a parent with no expectation, it changes you. That day was the last day that I lived in my childhood home. I never went back to school. My family wanted me to come back to St. Louis, so I had to completely change what I thought my life was going to be.
I want you to see a funnel. And if you know, the funnel is round up top, and then as it comes in, and then it has this neck clogged in the bottom. See, up top is where you have the money, the resources, the opportunity. By the time those things make its way down here, where it's clogged in the neck, we fighting over the crumbs. I'm fighting over the opportunity. No, I can't collaborate with you. I gotta compete against you. Imagine if the closeness of what we have right here, if together with all our power, we flip that funnel. We still clogged and we close, but what we doing, we sharing. Because I'm making sure, whatever I grab, I got enough for me and you. We sharing this thing together. The problem isn't with each other, it's with the position we in. We got to flip the funnel.
Grief is a spiral staircase. Sometimes you're moving forward, but sometimes you end up in the same place. My older brother was my parents' first child. Him and my dad were really close. They got matching tattoos when Tyrell turned 18. One of the only times I saw my dad cry was when he went away to college. My brother could get away with anything. June 9th was 4 days after the anniversary of my dad's death. Around 5 a.m., I got a phone call, and someone was just like, your brother has been shot. I really can't remember the exact words that they used, but I do know that they told me that he died. Notifying my family about the death of my brother was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. When I got to the hospital, they had a social worker come out and talk to me. Then they had me identify his body. So I had to, say, oh yeah, this is my brother, And then I had to call my family members and let them know where I was and what happened. And I had to call my mama and tell her, and I couldn't. I just told her that he had been hurt and that she needs to come to the hospital, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her that he died. She just broke down crying, just like wailing. That's like a memory I can't get out of my head. Losing my brother after losing my dad caused me to not really know what I should be doing in life. I started writing a lot to cope with grief, and that led me to music. So I started rapping and performing, and then, it just wasn't enough. So I needed other support. I started going to the bullet-related injury clinic, the BRIC, for support. They help folks that have experienced gun violence, whether that's you've been shot or you've had a family member or a close person that's been shot.
I'm a trauma surgeon, and I practiced the care of people who were injured by bullets in both Baltimore and St. Louis, where everyday people were coming with their lives impacted by bullets. When a life is threatened or lost, that grief radiates, it metastasizes, it spreads to the people who cherished and loved that life and knew that life. And I also think the reason that those feelings of pain and grief and loss spread well beyond the person who's impacted, but to an entire community, is because we sometimes don't know if we might be next. And so the hope of the Bullet-Related Injury Clinic, the BRIC, is to unbreak that broken trust. We do everything we can do to help people heal.
And I view homicides as a public health crisis, and it's definitely something that requires a multitude of arms of the community to be able to provide good preventive strategies to ensure that we can combat this very serious health issue that our community faces.
But really, bullets is a manifestation of all of the harm that is happening day to day in these communities, in the family structures, and also when they chose to divest from Black communities. We work with survivors of violence, and we use alternative methods of addressing serious violence called restorative justice and transformative justice practices to intervene in that harm, but helping survivors get to safety and working with people who do harm in their process of transformation so they can never do that harm again.
I work with people that are accused of causing serious harm and violence to another person. Folks that, are accused of some of the things that I've experienced as, a victim of violence. One of my friends was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" So one day you could sit across from the person that killed your brother. I just said, I'm ready to heal. So my healing journey has just been a combination of everything. I needed the healing services from the BRIC. I needed to write everything. I needed to go to therapy. I needed to exercise. I needed to eat right. All the things they tell you need to do, you really do need to do. One way I honor my brother and my dad is through creativity. My brother was an amazing visual artist. My dad, he was a musician, he played bass, and now I'm an artist and I perform. I make music about their lives. I make music about my experience losing them. I make music about love, like I'm living. And I think what they would want more than anything is to see me live.
Pick it up, no time to delay. I'm just in town for the week. You want my line before I leave? Why call, just pull up on me. You say my problem is you won't be calling me. I think I know your game, you are just for the streets. I'm always on the road to what they mean to me. Are you gonna roll? You trying to join the team? Try your touring process, rust about complete. You playing, I do callbacks, that 314 lead. Yeah. Tell me, can you watch it like that? Cause where I'm from, the girls got it like that. Wait, tell me, am I calling you back? Head down and put your back into it. My number's 314.